So today we are going to discuss about a topic. Its name is ULFA Pact, an accord of safeguards. Okay, so today we are going to understand ULFA. What is ULFA? We will understand about this organization. Then we will understand about internal security challenges that are posed by ULFA section. We will understand about the recent happenings related to the ULFA section, which is ULFA Pact. We are going to understand what is the main, let's say, motto of ULFA, like why they are indulged into insurgency. We are going to discuss about the outcomes of the ULFA Pact. We will understand about some historical significance related to this. We will understand some of the important aspects related to Northeast India. So basically this particular topic that we are discussing today, right? What is the relevance of this topic? When we talk about relevance, so this particular topic is important under GS paper 3 of the mains exam. GS paper 3 of the mains exam under what? Internal security. Okay, it is a topic under internal security. Internal security is a very small portion in the UPSC mains exam, and very few articles come throughout the year. Okay, maybe let's say 8 to 10 topics may become important in a year, but it is most likely that every year UPSC does ask question from this section. Okay, about 1 or 2 question is asked in the mains exam. You just need to cover 8 to 10 topics to answer those 1 to 2 questions. It may have a weightage of around 25 marks in the mains exam. Okay, so very small section, few topics only, and this is one of the most important topic among all the topics that are coming under internal security. So that's why we need to learn about this. So what is ULFA? We will discuss about it. We will understand about, let's say, we will understand what is ULFA, right? So when we talk about what is ULFA, ULFA stands for the United Liberation Front of Assam. Okay, it is, when it was initially started, it was known as the United Liberation Front of ASOM, Assam. Mark the spelling. This is the, let's say, name of ULFA, full form of ULFA, United Liberation Front of Assam. But when we talk about the state of Assam is spelled like this now. Okay, so this is the thing. This is the state of Assam, that is. So we are going to understand what is the purpose of ULFA, what are the different, let's say, sections under ULFA also, and where it is mostly operating, right? To understand these aspects, we need to learn little more about this. Let us understand some geographical context related to this. So when we talk about Northeast India, so this is how Northeast India looks like, right? This is how Northeast India looks like. In the middle of Northeast India, over here, we do have a state. Let's say, maybe it does not look that way, but it is in the middle of Northeast India. And this state is known as the state of Assam, right? So this ULFA section is basically operating for the purpose of getting power in Assam. Where? To get power in the state of Assam, all right? So if we talk about what are these places, this one is Sikkim, as we all know, and this is Bhutan, just to the north, right? Just to the, let's say, south of this section, we have Bangladesh, right? Over here we have Myanmar. So here, when we talk about the state of Assam does have, let's say, like, very, especially the state of Assam does share border with Bangladesh at 2 places over here, right? If you see the exact map, you will understand that state of Assam shares border with Bangladesh directly. It does have border. It does have border with Bhutan also. Okay, like from Assam, people directly reach to Bhutan. Okay, just by walking. Then from Assam itself, let's say they need to cross little bit, they can go to Myanmar also. So when we talk about this group which is known as ULFA, when we talk about this group ULFA, what is the nature of this group? It is known as insurgent group. Okay, it is an insurgent group. What do we mean by insurgent group? A group which is in the activities, illegal activities. For example, they are doing, right, they are involved in many illegal activities. What are those illegal activities? They are involved in kidnapping, they are involved in kidnapping, they are involved in assassination, they are involved in terror activities. What is the terror activities? They have done bombings also in the past, right? In the capital of Assam, they have done bombings. They do kidnap people who are rich people in the state of Assam. Those people who own tea estates in this Assam, or those people who are rich, they kidnap them, they ask for ransom, and if in case ransom is not given to them timely, they do not hesitate to execute people also. Execute means they kill people after kidnapping them, right? So the thing is, ULFA, when we talk about ULFA group, I also belong to the state of Assam, so I can share some of the insights that I had learned when I was a kid, right? So the place where we used to stay, right? So my, let's say, like, we say Tauji, Papa ke bade bhai, we used to stay in his building. So he had a hotel also. In the hotel, there used to be people who used to come, and we somehow got to know that this person belongs to ULFA, like that. Okay, and the thing is, ULFA is a real thing. Real thing means, like, there are people who are part of ULFA section, and they are into the execution as well. Okay, means like into kidnapping of people, execution of people. I stayed there when I was kid. I studied till the, let's say, 5th standard in Assam. So then we got to know that so and so people who was rich, he was kidnapped. Later on, he was killed also by ULFA section. So it is very prominent when we talk about ULFA. So it is a very prominent group in the state of Assam. So they are involved in these activities. But the question arises, why they are involved in such activities? What they ultimately want, right? What they ultimately want. So the thing is, when we talk about the United Liberation Front of Assam, the United Liberation Front of Assam is being run by few people who are heads of this organization. One of the person is known as Arabinda Rajkhowa, another is known as Paresh Barua. So when we talk about the persons involved in ULFA, there are, let's say, many people, but two important heads, right, of ULFA section, they are in news, and they are Arabinda Rajkhowa, Arabinda Rajkhowa. This is name of a person. Other person is known as Paresh Barua. So this is the, let's say, surname of people, Barua, Goswami, right? So they are surnames or last names of people who are from the state of Assam. So when we talk about Arabinda Rajkhowa, he was arrested by the law enforcement agencies. When? In 2009. But this person has never been arrested. He was arrested initially in 2009. He was released as well by the government. Why? Because government wanted to go for peace talks with ULFA as a faction. Because it is not run by an individual. It is an organization, big organization. Huge number of militants are working. Huge number of insurgents are working. And so when we talk about what are the different factions of ULFA, factions means like different, let's say, units of ULFA, right? So ULFA has various factions under it. So prominently we know about 3 such factions of ULFA, right? I'm going to write names of all those 3 factions. One of the faction of ULFA is known as Pro-Tox faction, right? It is known as Pro-Tox Talks faction of ULFA, okay, ULFA Pro Talks faction, PTF, okay, this is the thing. Apart from this, we do have another faction which is known as anti-talks faction, anti-talks faction of ULFA. This is ULFA ULFA anti-talks faction, ATF. Then we also have an ULFA which is independent, ULFA independent. So this is another faction of ULFA which is independent. Now to understand about these factions, let us understand about pro-talks faction of ULFA. When we talk about pro-talks faction of ULFA, it means those people who were earlier involved in insurgent activities, those people who were earlier involved in illegal activities, now they are ready to talk with the government. Why? Because they want to make peace, they want to go for negotiation, they want to go for reconciliation, right? They want to go for peace basically. So that faction is known as pro-talks faction, and pro-talks faction is headed by Aravinda Rajkhowa, right? The person who was arrested by government in 2009, and this person has recently signed a pact. This is known as trilateral pact or tripartite pact. He has signed tripartite pact with the union government as well as the state government of Assam. So on one side we have a state government, on one side we have union government, on other side we have pro-talks faction of ULFA. So it is a kind of tripartite agreement or tripartite pact that was signed. So this was signed by pro-talks faction, and this pro-talks faction is headed by Aravinda Rajkhowa. Then we have, let's say, anti-talks faction. Anti-talks faction means they are considered to be hardline ULFA people. They do not want to negotiate with the government. They do not want to interact with the government. They want to carry on with the activities that they have been doing it, right? This anti-talks faction is led by Paresh Barua. And then ULFA independent, it is also led by Paresh Barua. Both these sections are led by Paresh Barua, and this particular section is led by Aravinda Rajkhowa. Now let us talk about the ULFA pact that was recently signed. Okay, we will talk about what are the agreements that were signed between the government and the ULFA pro-talks faction. Okay, that is important for us. And now here we need to understand that since ULFA is an insurgent group, right? So why the government has not cracked on them so far? Cracked in the sense, but the thing is, like, government has done multiple activities so far to arrest those peoples. There have been, but like, you know, the anti-talks faction or ULFA independent, how they are operating? They are operating from cross border. They are operating from Bhutan, they are operating from Myanmar, they are operating from Bangladesh. They do have, let's say, like their camps, right, ULFA camps in these countries, nearby countries, and from there they operate, right? They operate in this particular region. This is the thing. And the person, right, the Rajkhowa, Mr. Aravinda Rajkhowa, who was arrested by the government has arrested him from Bangladesh, okay? So he was arrested in Bangladesh, and from Bangladesh he was extradited to India, right? So there was, we do have, let's say, extradition treaty. He was extradited to India, right, from Bangladesh. This is the thing. Now let us talk about, let's say, the provision of the pact. What pact? The ULFA pact. Why? For example, they have come for a negotiation. Basically, any insurgent group that is fighting in a particular region, they do have their own demands. When they feel that their demands are not met by the government, so they take up arms. They go against the government. And there have been incidents where ULFA faction, they have, let's say, killed many army personals. For example, they have killed, like, you know, in Assam, there is, let's say, Indian army is operating, right? Then we have like this Assam rifles, okay? Assam rifles are there. So many army personals have been killed by the ULFA faction in the past. They have done bombing activities as well, okay? And if I talk about the deployment of army in the state of Assam, there the deployment of army is much more than the deployment of army that you can see in Delhi, Okay, means like, every kilometer you will find, in every kilometer you will find at least 8 to 10 personnel who are standing with their rifles, the army personals. That's the thing, okay. Because that particular region is not only affected by ULFA, there are other factions also. There is another faction that is known as ULFA, right? We will discuss about it in a later date, but at this point of time it is important for us to learn about ULFA, okay, ULFA. So ULFA, they do have some demands, and what are those demands? Basically the ULFA people, right, ULFA people, they want to maintain the identity of the indigenous people. For example, those people who have been the original inhabitants of Assam, they are talking about rights of those people. They are against any kind of immigration activity in the state of Assam. Even they take a stand against the minority people in Assam. Let's say minority people also include the Bengali Muslims in the state of Assam. So they are totally against them, right? They do carry out one or other activity. And in the state of Assam, there are other fronts also. For example, we do have the Bodoland. I will talk about that thing. So there is a Bodoland movement, okay. So in Bodoland, that is a region which is known as Kokrajhar. In the state of Assam, we do have a region which is known as Kokrajhar. In Kokrajhar, there have been multiple instances of mass killing of people. Mass killing of whom? The minority people in the state of Assam. And the place where we used to live, I have seen a person, right? I was a kid that time. There was a person who was of the age of 20-25 years. In front of his eyes, all his family members were killed, right? And that person has become kind of mental in the sense like, he did not have proper senses. He used to roam around here, there. So whenever he used to come to our home, so like, my dadi, auntie, means like, they used to feed him time to time. It was like that. So although like we do not stay in that particular region, Kokrajhar, but the thing is like his family members were killed in Kokrajhar by Bodo people.
It is Kokrajham or Pokhrajam?
So that region is known as Kokrajhar.
What was the name of movement for statehood in that another West Bengal region, Darjeeling region? In 2017, they also demanded separate statehood.
That's a separate. That's a separate.
The name because we said Bodoland from there. I thought Bodoland was for separate state for those Darjeeling and Sikkim region.
No, Bodoland means like, in the state of Assam, there are many people, right? So there are some people who are Garo. Then we have, let's say, Bodo people. Bodo are also Assamese people, but like, they are a kind of tribal people. And those tribal people, basically like, there have been tussle between Bodo people and Muslim people in that region. So that has led to mass atrocities many a times. It was there in the news also in the year of, let's say, 2016-17, huge number of people have been killed. It came in the news for 1 or 2 days. After then, let's say, like, news have been subjugated. I mean, like, news articles did not come further. So that has happened. So this region that I am talking about, it is Kokrajhar. Now, having understood this particular thing, which is, let's say, factions of ULFA, now let us talk about that the person who was arrested by the army official. What has happened? That person has gone for talks with the government, right? Talks with the government to establish peace. And the thing is, like, we are going to now understand about provisions of the pact. What pact? Provisions of this particular pact, the ULFA pact. Provisions of the ULFA pact. Let's discuss. So this ULFA pact that is being signed, as I discussed, it is a tripartite agreement. Okay, it is tripartite agreement. Tripartite agreement means here, let's say on one side, right? On one side, let me write it somewhere. Let's say on one side over here, we have the ULFA pro-talks faction, right? On the other side, we have state government, right? We have a state government, which is a state government of Assam. On the other side, over here, let's say we have the central government, right? So these three parties have signed a pact. This is the thing. It is a kind of tripartite agreement. You can make a better, let's say, like, triangle of it. So it's a tripartite agreement. So in the tripartite agreement, on one side there is ULFA, on the other side there is a state government, on the other side there is central government. Now state government and central government has put some viewpoints that ULFA should do this, this, this. Means like, some conditionalities have been put by the central government and state government together. Why both of them came in a kind of, let's say, agreement with one another, state government and central government? Because in the central government we have BJP party, in the state government of Assam we have BJP, right? So they have same ideology, you're understanding? So they are on the same line, right? So since they are on the same line, they have put some kind of demand from ULFA. And ULFA also have put some demands. So they have negotiated with one another and they have reached an agreement, right? In that agreement, ULFA has made some commitments, okay? So we are going to discuss about some provisions of those agreements. So the first part we are going to understand about ULFA commitments. Means what were the commitments that were made by ULFA faction, right? What were the commitments? So ULFA said that they are going to renounce violence and disbanding, okay? Number one, they have said they are going to renounce violence and they will go for disbanding. Now what is disbanding? Renounce violence means they have been involved in atrocities, they have been involved in kidnapping, killing of people, ransom. Why they used to do it? So that they can generate money, and using that money they would be, let's say, running their operations. So they have, ULFA has committed that they are going to renounce violence and they are going to disband all the people who are working under it. Okay, they are going to disband the people. Means like they have created cadre of people who are working for ULFA. They are going to disband all of it. Okay, so this was the decision that was taken by pro-talks faction of ULFA. Then they have also, let's say, like, decided to embrace democracy. Okay, they have decided to embrace what? Democracy. Embrace democracy means basically they want to come to power, and for coming to power they will be fighting elections. Okay, they are going to fight elections. Okay, to come to power they are going to fight elections, and that's how they are going to embrace this democracy. After then they are going to cooperate with authorities. Okay, ULFA section, they are going to cooperate with authorities in the state of Assam and also with the central government authorities. Cooperate means they will provide information related to the activities that were carried out by their, let's say, faction so far, and they are going to share intelligence information and other information related to functioning of ULFA. In a way that pro-talks faction of ULFA has decided to, let's say, like, renounce their activity, insurgent activities. But they have also taken some commitments from the central government. So now we are going to discuss about the government commitments. Okay, so here we are going to discuss about government commitments. Government commitments means like government of India and the state government of Assam, they have also made some kind of commitment to ULFA. So what are the commitments that the government has made? So they are going to address the Assamese concern. Okay, they are going to address the concern of Assamese. They address the Assamese concerns. Means the people of Assam, whatever concerns they have, right, related to protecting their identity, related to, let's say, like, growth in the state of Assam, related to, let's say, economic development of Assam, these concerns will be addressed by the central government. Apart from this, yes, so meanwhile, if you have some question, anyone, offline, online, you can ask me those questions, okay, while I discuss, right, you can ask me. Then they are going to provide a development package, okay, central government is going to provide a development package, not to ULFA section, but to the state of Assam for proper development, and this will be 1.5 crore, 1.5 lakh crore investment will happen in the state of Assam. So it's going to act as a development package for the state of Assam. Apart from this, they are going to focus on delimitation principle, okay? They are going to focus on delimitation principle. Recently, you might be knowing that recently a delimitation exercise has been conducted in the state of Assam. It has been conducted in the state of, there in Jammu and Kashmir as well. Delimitation means redrawing the boundaries of constituencies for state legislative assembly elections and for the Lok Sabha elections. That is known as delimitation. Delimitation means drawing the boundaries of constituencies for state legislative elections and for the Lok Sabha elections or for the general elections. So recently, let's say they have followed certain principle for drawing the boundaries, and they're going to follow similar principles again, because pro-Tox faction has come into, they have come into kind of contact with the government. They have, let's say, like, come into a pact with the government. This is the thing. And the fourth part, this is one of the most controversial, let's say, like, part of the pact, and this is known as legislative safeguards. What? Legislative safeguards. This is one of the most controversial instrument that the central government has committed to them. What is this legislative safeguards? Basically, the pro-Tox faction or the ULFA section, they say that election can be contested only by those people whose fathers, forefathers, great-grandfathers have stayed in the state of Assam. Means they are talking about that those people whose, let's say, like, identity can be established that they have been inhabitants of Assam from last 100 year, 200 year, 300 year. Only those people should be allowed to contest in elections. It means India became independent. How long? It's been around 75 years now that we became independent. But what they are demanding that, like, a person who wants to contest election, right, he should establish his identity, let's say, of past 200 years. His father, forefather and all. Many of these documents are not available for many people, right? That's the thing. So this is a problem. So Government of India has said that we are going to provide this thing, and the central government has said that we are going to even amend the Citizenship Act of 1955. Okay, they are going to amend the Citizenship Act. They are going to provide those legislative safeguards. And why the pro-Tox faction is demanding this thing? Because pro-Tox faction is headed by a person who is an indigenous Assamese. Means, like, so he want betterment only for the indigenous Assamese, not for Bengali speaking Muslims, not for other minority groups. So that's why he has demanded that, like, legislative safeguard be provided, and only those people should be allowed to contest an election in a state legislative assembly who can establish their identity from last 100, 200 or 300 years. Now, I mean, only a pact has been signed, but the actual detail will be available only when the central government goes for amending the Citizenship Act of 1955. When we talk about citizenship, in the Constitution of India, we have article number 5 to article 11 that talk about citizenship. So they are going to mold some provisions maybe in the Constitution also and in the Citizenship Act as well. So the thing is, this is one of the most controversial sections, because India became independent. It's been let's say 75 years, and those people who are citizens of India, who are citizens of Assam, right, they should be able to contest the elections. But the question arises here that in the state of Assam they have conducted an NRC exercise also. NRC means National Register of Citizens. So the recent NRC exercise that was conducted in the state of Assam, so people have established their identity that they have been the resident of Assam from so and so date. And in the NRC exercise, many people have not been able to establish their identity that they are inhabitants of Assam for so long period. And many of those people have been sent into detention camps. Detention camps means they are being treated as foreigners. And the thing is, like, if we talk about religious divide, so huge number of Hindu people itself, let's say, like, they were not able to establish their identity. Very less number of Muslim people were not able to establish their identity. So the thing is, it has also led to a kind of controversial thing. So after conducting this particular exercise, the government of India has stored the information on a cloud server. Later on, it was reported that, like, all the data from the cloud server got wiped out. Are you understanding? So although it was mediated by the Supreme Court of India, that time when the NRC exercise was conducted in the state of Assam, the Chief Justice of India was, you know the name of a Chief Justice like who come from the state of Assam. He is now a member of Rajya Sabha. No, not Bomai. Gogoi some, I think. Yeah, Justice Ranjan Gogoi. So Justice Ranjan Gogoi, he comes from the state of Assam. During his tenure as the Chief Justice of India, he has, let's say, like, overseen the entire process of implementation of NRC exercise in the state of Assam. So it was, let's say, overseen by the Supreme Court of India. Under the, let's say, direction of the Supreme Court of India, the exercise was conducted. But after conducting the exercise, from the government database, the data got wiped out, right? So that's another problem. So these are the things, these are the commitments from the side of the government, these are the commitments from the side of the ULFA section. So these commitments seem reasonable because, like, they are going to cooperate with the authorities, they are going to renounce violence. So this will be in the good faith for the Indian citizens, for the citizens who are residing in the state of Assam. But the commitments that the government of India has made, right, it's going to be controversial for a long time to come. Now, when we talk about significance of this particular pact, okay, the pact that was signed. So what is the significance of this pact? We are going to discuss quickly about it. Significance of the pact. So the pact means ULFA Pact, the pact that was signed, tripartite agreement that was signed between the central government, state government of Assam and the ULFA section. So what is the significance? They are going to end the decades of conflict, okay? It's going to end the decades of conflict. Decades of conflict means they were not against common citizens, they were actually attacking the armed forces in the state of Assam, okay? So it's going to end the decades of conflict, but the thing is, the entire ULFA section did not come, only a faction of ULFA came, which is pro-Talks faction. The ULFA independent did not come to sign it, or the anti-Talks faction did not come to sign it, okay? Then it is going to bring political and economic stability, okay? It is going to bring what? Political and economic stability in the state of Assam, okay? Political and economic stability in the state of Assam. In Delhi or in other states in India, we see very highly rich people, right, to be roaming freely. Roaming freely means without bodyguards, without fear of anything. They do have big houses, they do have cars. But when we talk about the state of Assam, if there is a person who is so much rich, ultimately it will come into the notice of ULFA. And somehow one of the family members of the rich person may get kidnapped. this is, let's say, a constant fear that remains, let's say, like, in many people in the state of Assam. And it is not the case that they are only kidnapping people who are from, let's say, like, the minority sections. They kidnap people from the, let's say, indigenous Assamese people also. The owners of the tea estates, they have been kidnapped by ULFA section. So basically they target the rich individuals. Why? So that they can keep running their operations. That's the thing. So political and economic stability will come, and it's going to address the identity concerns. Okay, it's going to address the identity concerns. That's also another problem. Identity concerns means the indigenous people of Assam, they are fearful that, like, people are coming from Bangladesh, people are coming from Myanmar, people are coming from Bhutan, and their population is increasing in Assam, and their population is surpassing the population of indigenous people of Assam, and which is changing the demographic structure of this state of Assam. So this is their problem. This is their, let's say, like, identity threat that they are facing. Okay, and so they so the thing is, these are the things, and there will be challenges also. There are going to be challenges and uncertainties as well. What are the challenges? Only one faction of ULFA is signing it, other faction of ULFA is not signing it. That's the thing. And if we talk about long-term implication, in the long run, the pro-talks faction is going to get integrated with the political process. That will be beneficial. But one of the provision that the government of India has ensured to ULFA is that they are going to make changes to the Citizenship Act. That's going to be a problematic thing. And there can be global repercussions also, okay, related to this. So these are some of the significance of the pact. Now let us discuss about challenges of the pact. Okay, let's discuss about challenges of this pact. Challenges of the pact means pact has been signed by the central government and state government and ULFA, but what challenges is it going to bring? So one is the thing is non-participating ULFA faction. Number one is non-participating ULFA faction, which is the let's say anti-talks faction of ULFA, and independent ULFA, which is led by Paresh Barua. So they are not willing to cooperate with the government, and they are going to pose threat. Okay, they are going to pose threat to this pact. Okay, they are going to pose threat to this particular pact. This is one of the challenge. Apart from this, there will be implementation and monitoring related problems. There will be controversy over legislative safeguards. This is like, there will be controversy over legislative safeguards. Okay. Apart from this, it's going to create problems for inclusion. Okay, it's going to create problems in inclusion and social cohesion. Okay, it's going to create problems for inclusion and social cohesion. Why? Because when we talk about the state of Assam, there is, let's say, like, Assamese versus non-Assamese thing is there. So there is a dominant language in the state of Assam, which is Assamese, but the minority people speak Bengali. I mean, like, there are two languages. So officially, whenever even a Bengali speaking person goes to some offices in Assam, somewhere in the market, they generally speak the Assamese people, which is the dominant language in the state of Assam. So there is a kind of language problem. Then there is identity issue also. And since government has created signed this pact, so it's going to create problems for the minorities, okay, because like they will be sidelined, they will be marginalized, and if they are going to be sidelined and marginalized, so there will be problems in inclusion and social cohesion, okay, this is the thing. So apart from this, reconciliation and healing, for example, economic development and job creation. So government of India has promised 1.5 lakh crore investment and must translate into tangible benefits for the people of Assam. But the thing is, like, this investment that is going to happen, it should be done in a manner that equitable distribution of resources must be focused on. But if equitable distribution of resources is not focused on, it's going to create problem, okay. So another problem is problem in the package that the government of India has signed. This package should focus on equitable distribution, right? It should focus on equitable distribution of resources, right? Otherwise, it's going to create further problems in the state of Assam. That's the thing. So we have already discussed what are the major activities that were done by ULFA. They are involved in armed insurgency, assassination and kidnapping, bombings and attacks, extortion and fundraising, border incursions, ceasefire and peace talks. Like, you know, some faction of ULFA, they have gone for ceasefire and peace talks, and they have links with other insurgent groups also. For example, National Democratic Front of Bodoland, okay, NDFB, National Democratic Front of Bodoland, that I discussed in the beginning, right? So it is operational in Kokrajhar. So Kokrajhar has also been included as a kind of autonomous district council, right? So in the Constitution of India, we have 6th schedule in the Constitution of India, right, that recognizes some of the, let's say, like autonomous regions. So in the state of Assam also there are certain autonomous regions, okay. So Kokrajhar comes in one of those autonomous regions. So what now we need to understand that so far, whenever someone does anything against India or anything against state, government of India directly goes ahead and, let's say, bans that particular organization by labeling them as terror organization, by let's say imposing National Security Act, by imposing let's say like UAPA, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act and all. But when we talk about the ULFA section, it has never been done by the government. So this is something which is missing from the part of government. But now let us discuss about some of the steps that were taken by the government, okay. We are quickly going to discuss about, right, steps taken by the government to tackle activities of ULFA. So what steps did the government has taken? Number one, so related to security measures, the government of India has done multiple things, okay. We are going to quickly discuss about some of the security measures. So under this, number one, government of India has conducted Operation Bajrang. What? They have conducted Operation Bajrang. What is this Operation Bajrang? It was conducted in the year of 2003, long back. So this was a joint operation of Indian Army and Royal Bhutan Army, okay. So this was conducted by Indian Army and Royal Bhutan Army against ULFA section. This is one important operation. Apart from this, arrest of Arabinda Rajkhoa, okay, arrest of Arabinda Rajkhoa was done by the government in the year of 2009. and then he, let's say, joined the pro-talks faction of the ULFA. Apart from this, border fencing was done with Bangladesh. Okay, we have done border fencing with Bangladesh. Okay, means like borders have been fenced properly. Then political initiatives, peace talks has been initiated in 1992 and 2005. Then Assam Accords was signed in 1985. Okay. Apart from this, engagement with all Assam Students Union. So Assam Accord was signed by the central government, right? Under that Assam Accord, the government of India has decided that, like, you know, they are going to demarcate some dates for identifying people who will be considered as, let's say, like, you know, the citizens of Assam, and also those people who will be considered as non-citizens of Assam. So this was done post 1971. So in 1971, what has happened? The state of Bangladesh was created. State means a country was created, Bangladesh, and this was carved out of Pakistan. Okay, so Bangladesh, like, the government of India has supported Bangladesh, right? Like, you know, East Pakistan for its liberation. So there we have sent Shanti Bahini. Okay, the Prime Minister of India that time was Indira Gandhi. She has sent Shanti Bahini for liberation of East Pakistan from West Pakistan, and that has led to the creation of a new state. But the thing is, during that time, many people have entered into Assam also, and, like, you know, those indigenous people of Assam, they are now against those people who entered into Assam from Bangladesh. Okay, so they have negotiated with the government, and in 1985, I think Rajiv Gandhi government has signed, let's say, like, you know, talks, yeah, with AASU, like All Assam Students Union. Then apart from this, there have been other approaches also. What approaches? They have signed Northeast Industrial Development Scheme, and we have Border Area Development Program also, okay, like in the state of Assam. So these are the things that has happened related to ULFA. So ULFA is a kind of insurgent group. We need to understand it is an insurgent group. They are involved in illegal activities. But the thing is, government of India is in favor of bringing them, let's say, like, you know, bringing them into the democratic process if they are willing to renounce their arms. Okay, the like central government has talked with them in the past also, but this has been a significant thing that one faction has come, maybe the next faction also comes, so that will lead to end of ULFA section. As of now, ULFA section has not ended. Only one section of ULFA has come to talks with the with government. So what is the way forward? What we need to do? The government of India should go for inclusive dialogue, means, like, you know, they need to interact with the other ULFA section also, so that, like, you know, they can also be brought. Then we need to focus on transparent implementation of the ULFA Pact, so that the ULFA, the pro-talk section that has signed the pact with the government, so they should feel that, like, you know, their issues have been heard, so that the anti-talks faction can also think of signing the pact with government. Then we need to address the grievances not only of the indigenous people but also the minority section, right? The Bengali Muslims and other minorities in the state of Assam. Then community inclusion exercise can be done, right? The government of India need to focus on like conflict resolution models, and we can take international cooperation also. For example, like if we talk about Indian Army and Royal Bhutan Army, so it was a kind of international cooperation where government of India and government of Bhutan, they have cooperated with one another to, let's say, like, you know, to crack on those factions of ULFA that were operating at various places. So this has been done in the past. So this is a good thing. So international collaboration is important with Bangladesh, with Bhutan, and with Myanmar. Okay, so, like, you know, we will be able to address those issues. That's the thing. So that's all in this topic. So what you need to do after like go through this ED booklet once again, then there are 2 questions that are given at the end of the booklet. Okay, try to answer those 2 questions also, and after writing answer you can share your answer with me on this email address that you already know, which is jahidul@lukmaanias.com. okay. So this is a good topic, very short topic from internal security point of view, but it is a connected topic. Okay, so this is good. Recently we have studied another internal security related topic. I think on 2nd of January, I don't remember the exact date, but in the month of January itself, we talked about Maoism and we talked about Naxalism that day. Okay, Naxal belt or red corridor, etc. We discussed in detail that day. Okay, so Akshita, any question? I'm leaving the class early because, like, you know, you have a PT 100 class, right? PT 100 topic class, huh?
No, mine is optional.
Okay, all right. So that will be all. Thank you so much for the day. Hope to see you again.